Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the goddamn internet. And today guys, we're gonna be talking about a really fucking cool topic, okay? One of my favorite topics, actually a few of my favorite topics. We're gonna be talking about simulation, we're gonna be talking about code, we're gonna be talking about drugs, more in particular DMT, dimethyltryptamine. And to tell you a little bit about that, and so yeah, so basically this is a chemical that it you take three drags, or at least that's how Joe Rogan does it. I've never personally done this, but I'm a big drugger on weed, right? But so with DMT, it pulls you like out of reality, like everything, like your whole vision is like melted, and you're blasted into another fourth dimension or some shit, right? And I've looked at a lot of videos about how people describe feeling when they're on this DMT, which is natural, by the way. It's in plants, it's in us, it's just not in very large amounts. And yeah, it goes back to ancient times where like the monks in the forest, whatever you call them, they did ayahuasca, it's called, but it's actually DMT. It's just their version. It's embedded in their culture. And yeah, they dance and people hallucinate. And there's been a lot of talk recently about scientists mapping out the DMT world, the beings that everyone meets, the familiarity. They're trying to map out the DMT world. So a lot of people also connect this to religion, etc., where they think like you can only access that through this chemical, which is the god drug, or what do you, I don't even remember what you call it really, but yeah, it's just some very interesting stuff. Like my one friend knew a guy who took DMT once, and he went on a walk on his lungs, and he saw how black they were. And so he actually after that never smoked again, like a day in his life. So supposedly, but yeah, so apparently there's some real world changes and things happening when you take this, like some enlightenment. Yeah, it's just all over the place, really interesting. Watch some videos online. Joe Rogan does a really good video on this, but just to make extra sure everybody's caught up on this thing, that's really interesting, right? You're probably wondering how it connects to UFOs, aliens, etc., and I'm about to tell you. So stay till the end because it only gets better. So this first clip, I'm going to be showing you how just a basic run-of-the-mill explanation of DMT, probably better than I have already. So yeah, let's check that out, and then you're not going to be ready for what's coming. So let's watch.
DMT is a substance that's produced naturally in a variety of plants and animals, including humans. The functions of naturally produced DMT are unclear, but DMT is also a potent psychoactive drug known for its ability to produce intense but relatively short-lived hallucinations and psychedelic experiences. When used recreationally, DMT is typically smoked, but it's also the main psychoactive ingredient in ayahuasca, a brewed drink that produces longer-lasting psychedelic effects. Although orally administered DMT is rapidly degraded by an enzyme called monoamine oxidase, ayahuasca is brewed with plants that contain inhibitors of this enzyme, enabling the DMT in ayahuasca to remain active even though it's administered orally. The pharmacology of DMT is not well understood. The drug has actions at a variety of receptors in the nervous system, but its best characterized effects are its ability to stimulate a wide range of serotonin receptor subtypes. Studies suggest that DMT's action at the 5-HT2A serotonin receptor is especially important for producing its characteristically intense visual hallucinations. At the same time, stimulation of the 5-HT2A receptor alone does not seem to be sufficient to cause the hallucinations experienced by DMT users. Thus, it's thought that other serotonin receptor subtypes might be involved in these effects, and some evidence suggests that receptors for the neurotransmitter glutamate may play a role as well. It's also possible that DMT's actions at other receptors, such as sigma-1 receptors and traceamine-associated receptors, may contribute to the drug's effects, but more research is needed to elucidate DMT's full mechanism of action. DMT, like many other psychedelic drugs, is now gaining attention for its therapeutic potential. Studies with ayahuasca have found the drink to have beneficial effects in the treatment of depression, anxiety, and addiction, and studies are currently underway to investigate the possibility of DMT alone offering some of the same benefits.
So, if you have actually watched this full, type comment anarchy in the comments, okay? Just so I know that's like a secret thing that I will identify you. Fuck yeah, man. Thank you so much. I haven't said it yet. Subscribe, notifications on to stay updated with all this stuff. Share with your friends and family. That helps the absolute most. Liking shows me you like the video and enjoy this content so I can make more. Comments, I would like to know what you think about all this. Seriously, guys. I would like to engage on that. Yeah, so there's this thing recently where some guy takes, or people have been talking about this, but this one guy started it, where a person takes dimethyltryptamine, DMT, right? And he uses lasers, and what he supposedly has discovered and what everyone's going on about and going to experiment and all that, I cannot condone that legally, right? But so he looks into this laser and he sees code, like the real world's code. So this ties into simulation theory, deconstructing our simulation or world, etc., by code, because it only makes sense because physics is basically like code that is predictable and it's measured and all this stuff. But it's really interesting, and we're gonna get there. That's why you got to stay till the end, okay? Because I put it at the end because it's that good, okay?
You have basically found a tear in the fabric of reality. You found a way under the map, so as people that play video games would say.
I get that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah.
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 Can you first of all explain exactly what you discovered and how you discovered it, and then we'll kind of like we'll sum that up. Then we'll like start from the beginning,
sure, and
then go through like a linear fashion of how this all happened.
Okay. So in short, I basically discovered that there is a way. There's this phenomena on DMT that a lot of people are experiencing similar things. Emphasis on similar, like very similar, but similar. And I asked, because I've done it so many times, I asked myself, okay, wait a second. I don't think there's any possibility at this point for me to believe that this is somehow mind-made, whatever we call mind-made, right? And then I asked myself, okay, well, if the space is real, is there anything we can do to prove that it's real? And one of the first things that came to mind is like, well, if we can find something that is exactly the same in that space for everybody, that puts us in a good place to start talking about it.
Like a repeatable experiment.
Well, repeatable experiment would be the thing that would show you that it's the same. I'm saying, yeah, can we find that one thing in some way that is the same for everybody? That was the thought. It took me years to figure it out, and we can talk about the details of how I figured it out at the end. But this one component, which essentially is what I discovered, if you project a diffracted laser on the surface, which just means a band of a laser, just like the thing that scans barcodes in a supermarket, and you smoke DMT, you will see code running in the surface that you're projecting the laser on. And this basically is the same for every single person. They see, in the beginning, they kind of see similar, like they see some structures, they see some movement, they see something kind of like there. But then eventually they drop into the space where they just see the same thing. And we can sit in a room. I had 15 people in a room at the same time, talking about it, pointing to it. You can literally talk about it like you talk about a regular object in a room. This is how coherent it is. That's the gist of what I found.
Okay, so we're getting to the good part right now. This is where the actual experiment takes place. And the laser looks weird. Guys, just trust me on this. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you think and enjoy.
One of the most important things to pay attention to is that you're looking through the laser, not at the diffraction pattern that falls on the wall. So even if you're sitting 2 or 3 feet away, like we're seeing here, you want to be looking at beyond the light, like you're looking through the window versus looking at the surface of the window. Also notice how wide the diffracted pattern of the laser is on the wall. People that choose lasers that produce this thing that just looks like one line, that's not wide enough for you to see anything because you're looking beyond the laser, not at the surface. So it will be too thin, too narrow of a crack to look through, so to speak. You can come closer like this And I would recommend to cover one eye so the light doesn't hit your cornea. And then you would be looking from the side. From the side is better because you get a separation of the layers inside.
So I just have to admit, this is looking really cool, right? See all these particles in the laser, kind of like, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when the sun's shining through your window, and whoever smokes in this community, etc. I see there's a lot of old people that watch my videos. No hate, fuck yeah, guys. Like 50 to 60, some shit. Like what? Thank you for watching. So for everyone who smokes, okay, when the sun is shining like through your window, etc., and you blow smoke through the, like that beam of light coming in, have you seen how much smoke that is? Like, and sometimes in the morning when the sun's shining, it's really weird. I don't know. I don't know if this phenomenon has a name or, but it's a lot more smoke, and it like looks really cool, like the particles mixing, you can see. So I'm thinking this is something like this maybe, but just more extra because you're on DMT at the same time, right? So I don't even know. So
you want to stay with it until you start seeing digits. The separation between just seeing the structures and seeing the digits is total. When you still see the structures, it's possible to imagine that these structures are due to the influence of DMT in your brain while you're looking at a stochastic pattern. But when you see the digits, this hypothesis becomes much less tenable. You will notice some motion. Stay with that motion. The digits are usually much smaller than people expect. So keep looking until you see actual digits running. Numerals and what seems like Japanese katakana characters. If you're using a glass of water like here, what you can do, you can either look into the glass of water, into the little reflections that you can see inside the glass. And then what you want to do is to mimic the gesture that we do when we go a little bit cross-eyed, which you will notice is the same gesture that your eyes are doing when you're trying to look beyond.
okay, so that's really fucking cool, right? Really interesting. I'm really curious. Let me know what you guys think. Does any of you know anything more about this? Anyone that maybe works in science or whatever the fuck, right? It would be cool to hear from you.
Somehow I got rated the #1 behavior profiling guy in the world, and I can see fakeness from a mile away. It's my job. It's my whole career. And I watched the people's reactions in that video, and that was the most genuine thing that I could ever see online. And it was just, I watched it again 2 or 3 times, just like, let's see if this is scripted, let's see if somebody's faking it. And there was nothing. And I thought, this is profound. And I thought, this has to be real because of the behavior that I'm observing in the video. And if that is true, this is going to be one hell of a discovery, whatever it is. And we may experiment with this for the next 3,000 years and not figure it out.
But then it was actually like, whoa, what is happening? Am I losing my mind? But then I showed other people, and things kept getting weirder.
Just for the record, I haven't told him anything. Okay, just tell me what you see.
Oh my God, come on.
Wow, what the fuck? Holy shit. I just saw something. Yeah. What the fuck?
Oh, I see that. I feel it.
So all these people experiencing this and giving these kinds of reactions, it really makes one curious, right? That if anyone can upload a video about a tutorial of some kind of how to do this, what laser, like all this stuff, okay, don't list your DMT dealer, your local one, okay? That shit you gotta find yourself if it is needed, and you know. So yeah, I want to know how to do this. I want to experience this. That's all I want to know. So don't do drugs, okay?
So Chase is, welcome to the family.
It's good to be here. This is so bizarre. So initially I thought it would be lots of just clean, equally, perfectly spaced lines of code, like the way that I was imagining it.
Yeah.
And then looking at it, even I can see it now, some. And none of it makes any sense. And if it was a hallucination, it would move.
When you move, you mean? Like when you move, it will move with you, is what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it would morph, is what I mean. It could morph over time. And these are like object permanent. And I can see stuff in that direction, and I can move this way, and I can see in that direction. Like I'm looking beyond this little thing right here. And it's just weird. And it's even weirder that we can see it with our eye, you know? There's no microscope here. There's no large hadron collider. We could just like shine a laser on a wall and there's some stuff inside.
But you have to bring your consciousness to a different state.
Yeah.
Which actually tells you something very big about what consciousness is. There's a continuum there.
Yeah.
It's not just what it is. There's like there's gradation of it.
Yeah, you get to that state and it's just...
So, okay, a well-known, renowned astrophysicist, really smart guy, a person with a lot of qualifications, has been on the Danny Jones podcast as well, has had his opinion shared and spoken about this. So we're going to be checking that out. So let's do that right now.
Now, the problem you've got is that you want to have some way. So Danny is seeing this code, right, out there in the world. And when he smokes DMT and he looks through this at this laser, and the problem that you've got is, how to distinguish this from this experience that seems to be there. How to distinguish that from a hallucination, and the problem is, and it's a really profound problem, is that both real perceptions and hallucinations are built from the same stuff. They're models. Everything you experience, as I said, is a model constructed by your brain. So there's no difference in a sense between a true perception of something out there in the environment, an object, such as this glass, and a hallucination of that object, at least from a distance. Both are models constructed by the brain. So how do we know if someone is experiencing a hallucination, or whether someone is actually experiencing a true perception, what we would call a veridical perception, a perception that tells them something valid about what's going on in the environment? And it's not trivial. Now, for most people, most of the time, it's not a question that they need to be overly concerned about. We trust our perceptions most of the time, and we get it right most of the time. But of course, that's not always the case. So one way we can think about distinguishing between a hallucination and a true perception is by some kind of consensus. So if you're in a room with 10 people and 9 of them say that there isn't a man in a dark suit stood in the corner, but you see a man in a dark suit stood in the corner, you're probably hallucinating.
So, in conclusion today, guys, thank you for watching until here. I really appreciate the fuck out of you. That's some good watch time. Make sure to put my all playlist on autoplay. If you're going to sleep, put your sound off, let that run. That would help out a ton. And if you have not already, right, check out the double slit experiment and the split brain experiment. Okay, both of those, but especially the double slit experiment. It also supports like the simulation theory, like particles change the way they behave when they're being viewed or observed. they go back in time and change what happens, weird shit, okay, to like save resources or whatever. So all this talk is really interesting. If you want to hear more like this, leave a like, subscribe, notifications on. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Daily uploads, trying to get to 500 subs, and let's aim for 5 likes.